The honourable member for Vermilion Lloydminster.
Mr. Speaker, last week I questioned the Solicitor General on the ongoing issues of rural crime and drugs in our correctional facilities. The Minister mentioned a pilot project to install body scanners to hopefully prevent the entry of contraband into remand centres. In the meantime, counselling services for persons in remand are woefully inadequate. I spoke with one former prisoner who said he spent weeks in both Calgary and Edmonton remand without ever seeing a counsellor. To the Minister, we share your hope that body scanners are successful in keeping drugs out of correctional centres. What are you specifically doing to increase counselling services in those centres?
Excellent. The Honourable Minister of Health and Deputy Premier.
Thank you very much. Given that we're touching on a mental health issue, I'd be happy to begin, and I'm sure my colleague will have more to say in subsequent answers. But when I toured the Edmonton remand recently, I was really proud to have an opportunity to meet with the extensive healthcare team that was in place, including counselling services, as well as nurse practitioners, dental hygienists, a strong nursing team, and healthcare aides as well. And I have to say that it was great to see the opportunities that are in play there. And we know that often people who are incarcerated have other underlying social determinants of health, and to be able to address those, including mental health, is certainly a priority.
Supplemental.
Well, Minister, you need more because the prisoner in question saw a counsellor once in 4 weeks. So since unresolved mental health and addictions issues are eventually released into society and are at higher risk of reoffending, and given that reducing rural crime must include a combination of increased enforcement, prompt prosecution, and robust prisoner rehabilitation, what counselling and drug rehabilitation services are offered to offenders after their release who continue to have unresolved mental health and addictions issues?
Thank you. Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and as I imagine this House is well aware, certainly Campaign 2017 included 2015 included a significant focus around mental health supports. That has been throughout the broader community, and I understand and would be happy to follow up around concerns around transition from incarceration back to community, but certainly our goal is to ensure that all Albertans get the right care in the right place at the right time, and as close to home as possible is certainly that goal.
Second supplemental.
Well, Mr. Speaker, given that criminal activity in my constituency is reaching epidemic proportions, and given that this activity has caused people to feel unsafe in both their homes and in their communities, and given that this government only pays lip service to the rehabilitation and counselling services that are critical to breaking the criminal cycle, to the Minister, when it comes to rural crime, your government has failed both the perpetrator and the victim. Explain exactly how that is making life better for Albertans.
Honourable Minister of Justice and Solicitor General.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And we couldn't agree more that ultimately, at the end of the day, the best way to address issues of crime in our society is to ensure that people have adequate income, to ensure that they have access to adequate mental health support. And that's why we were so happy to see launched a Navigator program for people transitioning out of incarceration facilities to help them hook up with the supports they need. Mr. Speaker, we absolutely know that there is more to do on this front, and we will be moving forward with additional mental health supports. But what certainly won't help with that, Mr. Speaker, is 20% cuts to healthcare budgets.